And I gotta tell you, 2.6 joules.
It'll sit you down.
It'll sit you down, and it actually threw me down. Everyone says not to do it. Everyone says you shouldn't do it. Right, Holly? But we did it. And what is that? Hi there, folks. I'm Sean the Modern Yeoman, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Homestead. April has arrived, and with it, a lot of big news items here at the Homestead. Holly's pregnant, of course. We made that announcement a couple of videos ago. We have pigs now, we have turkeys, and we're starting our garden soon. With all of these things on our plate, I thought it was high time to give you guys another monthly installment of our Homestead Update and Walk-Around Tour. As with all Homestead Update and Walk-Around Tours, you know what to do. Grab your favorite hot beverage, your sturdiest pair of walking boots, and let's take a walk. Before we get into that, though, I did want to bring up something that's very close and kind of near and dear to my heart. I wanted to chat real quick about something that's really fascinating and actually really important that one of my good friends, Justin Metcalf, a project that he's taking on. To those of you that don't know him, Justin is a traditional millwright and all-around good guy. He's actually based not too far from here. He's in Western North Carolina. I was actually able to meet him through our mutual friend, Billy, from Permanent Pastures Farm. And I was blown away not only by how nice the guy is, but how incredibly skilled he is as well. And all things farming and homestead related. Obviously, his specialty is building and repairing traditional style stone grain mills. I actually went with him on a trip to pick up one of those mills a few months back. And he's actually put together kind of his own prototype grain mill that, if he's successful in getting what he needs for it, it could actually really be a game changer in giving people like farmers and small homesteaders their very own way to mill their own grain. Anyways, he set up a Kickstarter campaign, and you can actually see the video from that Kickstarter playing here while I'm talking. And just knowing who Justin is and how amazing his plan is, I just wanted to give him a shout out. I would just be delighted if you guys went and checked out Justin and his channel and his Kickstarter. I'll include a link to all of those places in the description below. He's an awesome guy. He's got a really incredible plan, and it would mean a lot to me if you guys went and checked that out. First update I'd like to discuss with you guys is the garden. It's April now, and it's time to start thinking about this kind of thing. We haven't planted anything yet except for the greens. You remember the greens that I got started, those starter seeds? I started, a few weeks ago now. We got those in here, and on cold nights we put in my little mini greenhouse, this cold frame. I just prop these windows up to protect these greens, these budding greens, from frost. So far we haven't dealt with any frost overnight, but I actually think in the next few nights we're supposed to get some frost. I think of two things when I hear that news. Number one, I'm glad that we have this cold frame set up for those nights. And number two, I'm glad that we didn't do what we did last year and plant our whole garden in the middle of April when there's always going to be rogue frost nights that come. As a lot of you guys have reminded me, the best time to get started, even down in a climate as warm as Tennessee, the best time to get started with your entire garden, probably May. A lot of people say May 1st. Around here, people say May 1st is the day to do it, May Day. So I think that's what we're going to do is come May 1st, most of our garden is going to be transplants. I think we will want to get some potatoes in the ground, but otherwise some more greens. This bed is filled with things like okra and cabbage, and I can't remember some of the other things that I started, but I'd like to get a bed devoted to salad greens, things like spinach as well, just because we do like eating things like spinach and arugula and put them on sandwiches and put them with meat and stuff. So I think I'll get one more bed going here very soon. I'll probably need to do another cold frame workup. I do have these hoops over here that I can cover with cold cloth, so I might turn one of these beds into like a salad greens bed, but most of the garden is going to be devoted to calorie-dense foods. I think we're going to go heavy on sweet potatoes this year. Tomatoes are good. I do like tomatoes. Those obviously aren't as filling as potatoes, but it's a good thing that we really like to eat, and you can can them too. I think we're going to try and do squash and veggies like that, even though we have a problem with squash bugs. Hopefully the chickens doing their work in these beds over the winter killed most of those hibernating squash bugs. We'll see. I'll be a lot more diligent about knocking those bugs out though. But garden season is coming up very quickly. We're excited. Couple more weeks. I think here in the next week or so, we're going to actually sit down and make a plan of what we want and where we want to put it. We've also talked about the idea of using the tractor. There's a little tiller thing on it to till out some land to get rows of potatoes. That's something that would be a fun project. We'll see. Haven't decided whether or not we're going to do that for real though. Now the turkey gang has gotten a lot bigger, and they've been sitting in this spot for a few weeks now. I think it's time to move them up. I'm actually thinking that here within the next few days, maybe within a week or so, I'm actually going to move them to the main chicken run. I'm going to put them underneath the tractor that I made for the teenage chickens. I don't know if that will be too small. I'm still deciding how I'm going to do it. I don't want to just pop them in with the chickens without testing it out first. I want them to get used to each other. But either way, they're going to be making a move soon. I have made the decision that I'm going to keep the chickens and the turkeys together. I know, like I said in a previous video, a lot of people talk about maybe you shouldn't keep them together, but I think that's a regional thing. A lot of people around here keep turkeys and chickens together with no problems, no diseases or anything. So I think that's what I'm going to do. They're really coming along. They're growing up, and they look like they're really pretty, beautiful birds. Now, what about the pigs? Well, I'm happy to say that the pigs are out in the open now. They're not living just in their stall. We opened their door a few days ago, and although they love coming in here and sleeping, they're pretty lazy sometimes. They'll sleep during the mornings. I'll feed them in the morning, and then they'll come right back in their stall and go back to bed for a few hours. They do like being outside. So their stall has been perfect for them. There's one of them in there. But even more important is their run. They've really taken to it. They've done a really good job kind of pooping in one corner. They stick to one corner to do their daily toilet. And they've also made themselves a little wallow, little mud patch. You can see that right here. That was all grass at one point, my friends. Look at what they've done to it. So what I've been doing is I've just been kind of encouraging them to mud this spot up just to see, number one, how quickly they can turn a spot of grass into just mud, and it's quick. This has only been 2 days worth of them rooting around. And I've also been pouring water. We got a really nasty rainstorm last night with a lot of torrential rain, and that made this mud pit even worse and more wet and mucky. So I've just been pouring water in there. Right now it's actually kind of dry. It's not as wet as it has been, but they love hanging out in this spot. Eventually, as I've said, this fence is doubled up right now. I'm going to make it a single roll and have them stretch out there. And I also have another roll, same length. So I'm going to make their run super big. I'm going to get them way down in these woods over here and have them start working on that patch. It's kind of brambly right now. I was talking to Jason of My Haven Farms, where we got the pigs from today, and he said they love bramble, believe it or not. So they'll be able to clear that, he said, very quickly. Everything except for the wood and the trees, obviously. So we're going to test them out, get them moving into the woods here really soon. Speaking of the pigs, everyone says not to do it. Everyone says you shouldn't do it. Right, Holly? But we did it. And what is that?
We named them.
We named the pigs. Now, one loophole that a lot of people talk about is naming your pigs after meat items. Well, actually, I should back up. People say not to name feeder pigs. That's an important distinction because, you know, if you have a pet sow that you name and you're going to keep her around for a while, that makes sense. She's almost like a family pet. But feeder pigs, their ultimate destination is the freezer. People have rightly warned against naming them because you'll grow attached to them. You'll think of them like pets. They're very friendly animals. We ended up naming them. The loophole here is naming them after food items. So a lot of people will name their pigs bacon or pork chop, or Jason from Sutherland called his pigs the Bacon Brothers a few years back. That's a good loophole. So we kind of made a little twist on that. And Holly actually came up with the names for our boys here. Do you want to say what their names are?
Frank and Beans.
Frank, short for Frankfurter, and Beans.
Frank and Beans.
So number one, the one that's smaller and slightly darker, that's Frank, right, Holly?
Yep.
Hey, Frank, he knows his name. Number two is Beans. I don't know if Beans knows his name. I'm not sure if Beans is as clever as Frank is. But they have names now. Those are their official names, Frank and Beans. And they're still food items that we've named them after because, again, they will end up in the freezer at some point. And so we'll know that, okay, hey, here's Frank, here's Beans. I think they're great names. Thank you, Holly.
You're welcome.
What are we having for dinner tonight?
Pork chops.
We're having pork chops for dinner tonight,
not
Dad.
from these guys, though.
You're tired of the pigs already?
They come right to you, Dad.
Yeah.
Is this a slop bucket?
slop bucket?
You came right when we were filming the names, the reveal of their names, Frank and Beans.
Frank and Beans.
So, Dad, I gotta say, I got a little cocky with the fence. Yesterday, I got a little cocky. Holly's rolling her eyes. I got a little cocky with the fence, and I'll show you what I mean, guys.
You're going to do it again?
Nope, not gonna do it again.
We'll get it on film.
Basically, what I have been doing is I've been turning off the electricity to the fence, going inside the fence, and then once I'm inside the fence, I'll turn the electricity back on. I've been kind of just going through the motions and breezing through the motions. So yesterday, I didn't fully turn the power off, and I was halfway over the fence. And I got to tell you, 2.6 joules.
It'll sit you down.
It'll sit you down, and it actually threw me down. I wish I had the camera on me because you guys would have gotten a giggle from it. But I promise I must have been halfway to that door, if not further. That thing threw me. Just touching this. I don't know if it was just my legs that were touching the fence or if I had made a circuit because my hand was still on here. But it threw me. That thing kicked. It's not fun. So anyways, with all that being said, are you ready to feed the pigs over the fence, Dad?
Well, let me turn this off so that we don't see this happen.
Make sure it's off.
It's off.
Then you step over.
It's not clicking. Hey, guys.
Then you turn it back on.
Hello.
You got it.
Got a little treat for you guys. Hi. Hello.
I turned it
What
off.
do we have here?
Oh, goodness.
Oatmeal.
Potatoes.
Yep.
Oh,
Just a-
man,
just a
good
hodgepodge.
eating. Thank you for that, Dad. On behalf of Frank and Beans, thank you for that.
Of course.
Holly and I are going on a little trip. By the time you guys see this, we'll be back. However, Dad's going to be watching over the homestead since he's obviously right there, and he'll be taking care of Frank and Beans. So I wanted to walk you through the process. It's actually not that big of a deal. I'll just show you where I keep their food.
That's fine.
So I'm pretty confident that Dad knows what he's doing and taking care of all the animals, the pigs, the chickens, the turkeys, the cats, while we're gone on our little mini vacation. And like I said, we'll be back probably by the time you guys watch this. But I think the homestead is in good hands. But like I said, I wanted to give you guys a very quick update of where things stand. It's an exciting time here on the Yeoman. There's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to be grateful for. We've been blessed in a lot of different ways. We're busy. I mentioned it in a video a few videos ago. I actually have a full-time job. It's work from home. It's working from the Yeoman, so I still get to spend time here on the Yeoman, which is great. But suffice it to say, I'm a busy man, and I love it. I'm glad I'm busy. I like being busy. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Things are getting exciting. We appreciate you following along on the journey, the interesting journey. And until we see you guys again next time, remember, as always, slowly, slowly.